All right, we're back. So you can see we are now screen sharing. So apparently I need to do that from the beginning next time. So I will definitely do that. So now that we know what we're doing, let's check this out. All right. So first of all, let's talk about our property. I'm not trying to call anybody out or say you have a good deal, you have a bad deal. I'm not trying to advertise for anybody. I'm not trying to hate on anybody. So let's get that out of the picture. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house in Tempe, Arizona. It's about 1553 square feet, which needs to be verified because tax records say it's 1,200 and change. You'll see in the pictures that there is an add-on, and so that's where the additional square footage is. So we need to make sure it needs to be verified that it's done right if this is a deal that we move forward on. So what we do know is right here, Peterson Park is the subdivision. So let's do a quick. So we're in MLS now. Quick search. Let's put it to a rental. And the very first thing that I do is I look up subdivision. Peterson Park. So there's 2 active. So immediately I'll go to the map. I will make sure that we're in the right area. We are. So if you want to see where we're at, we're on Southern and Priest. So this is the west side of Tempe. To give you a little bit better scope, I believe you can see my mouse. So up here is ASU, where my mouse is right now. And so this is, you can see it's right by freeways, easy access. So this isn't the best location. As you move over here into South Phoenix, it gets a little bit worse, but it is still a Tempe zip code. And so that's what we're going to roll with. So let's zoom it on in. And the first thing we want to look at is the immediate neighborhood, and then we'll go out from there. So I will select that neighborhood. I'll go back here, get rid of that in case a realtor spelled the subdivision name wrong, which does happen. Click on these. We want everything closed in the last, everything active, pending, and closed in the last 6 months. So that gives us 11 results. And so let's see, 155 pending. UCB means pending. That's fixer. It's a 1.5 bath, 190. So here we go. This is going to be a good comp. So 234, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 square feet. And then we'll go check out the pictures real quick. It's got landscaping. So it looks like it's not in bad condition, but it's not a flip. It's got tile, but it's older tile. This is older cabinets. So this is not a flip. It's not in bad condition, and it has a pool. It's not in bad condition, but it's not a flip. And so we are pending here at 234. And if you have questions, you see my mouse. All right, cool. Thanks, Paul. Everybody that's on here, I'm going to be flipping back and forth. So if you have questions, ask them. And then Paul, come knock on my door if I'm doing something wrong. So that's going to be a great comp for us, 234. It's a little bit smaller, but it's right in the area. And so now let's go scroll down. Now you can see I just went right past all these other ones because these are going to be fixers. They're going to be the lower end. We're going to be able to use comps in the higher end because that's what we do. We fix up very nice. Okay, so now we got a 228. And so that's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,400 again. Let's look at the photos. So this one is fixed up. So this one's pretty nice, actually. And so if we look at when it was sold, I imagine it was in the winter, right? So it was sold here in February of 2018. So that means they listed at the wrong time, which I don't blame them because I list in the winter time. I list at all times because we don't stop. Oh, look back here. It's open door. So open door is traditionally going to get a little bit less than what we get as flippers. So they sold at the bad time, and it was open door. So that's going to be one of the lower comps. I mean, that's going to be the bottom of what we can get. Because that's their strategy. Their strategy isn't to do a full-on remodel. They carpet paint, and they get them sold quickly. So here's another one on Edward Drive, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, $1,176. So this is smaller than ours, which is good. Look at the price per foot, guys. That's $200 a foot. That doesn't always hold up. If you look at this next one, this is not a comp because it's so much bigger, $2,300. That drops in half, $107. And I think this is a fixer too. So we're not even going to look at that one. So these two are comps, and the Harl is absolutely a comp. And then, so now what are we going to do? We are going to venture outside. Now, this is where it's very important. You got to know your markets. I know these markets like the back of my hand, so I don't need to drive them and make sure. But for you, I want you to be driving these neighborhoods because you got to check them out. Are they the same year built? Are they the same zip code? For example, if you look, so here's Southern. If you go into this neighborhood, and this is actually a mobile home park, but if you go into this neighborhood down here, this is a Tempe zip code. But if you went down and checked comps here, they're going to be less. They're going to be probably at least 10% less because they, even though it's a Tempe zip code, they comp better to these neighborhoods. Now, these neighborhoods were all built in the 80s, very similar to these, and this is Phoenix, and these neighborhoods simply are not as good as these neighborhoods over here. So now, knowing Tempe, I also know that this neighborhood, I have actually sold a couple homes in this neighborhood. So I know these were built the same time, they're the same zip codes, same types of homes, same comps. So we're definitely going to use this neighborhood for comps as well. Now, on the other side, this is, where's Mill? So yeah, so this is Hardy. On the other side here, it gets a little bit better, so I'm not going to use those as long as I have enough comps to look at. You don't want to stray too far away. So if we use the circle here and we did a circle, that right there is a mile. Typically, you don't want to go more than a mile outside, but again, you want to make sure that it's within the same type of property, same age. You want apples for apples. Let's get rid of that. So to reiterate, this is our neighborhood. We know this neighborhood is very similar. This is getting a little bit better. This is Mill Avenue, Southern and up. These are very nice neighborhoods over here. We would never use these as comps because they're simply not. You would never pay the same prices for this as you would over here. So those are what you got to know. You got to know your market. Very important. So now let's view results. Let's have a look at all of them combined. Come on. Okay. So let's change this up. Single family. And now that we have more, we're going to go. Before I wanted to look at all of them because it was in the exact same neighborhood. But now I just want comps. So we're 1550. So let's go 1350 to 1750. See if this gives us enough. So that gives us 4 more in this other neighborhood, all sold, which is good. So 210, that's not great. But here we go. 244, 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1579 square feet. This is similar to us. Photos. So it's nice. Remodeled. You can see they have the subway. This is also how to figure out how you're going to comp your or how you're going to rehab your property is what is everybody else doing. So you can see they use white shakers. Actually, these are like flat panels. They might have even painted these. This is remodeled, but it's really not that nice. It's like okay. You know, they have some tops, ugly. Look at those that though. I can tell you right there. Because they have this closed and I can see those 6x6 right there. That tells me right there I know this shower is not remodeled. So that is a key indicator, but that's a pool. We don't have a pool. And here's another one in the neighborhood, 245 on Pebble Beach. There we go. So this is nice. We got granite. We got granite landscaping, you know, it's a decent remodel. Nothing spectacular, but this will definitely get the job done in this type of neighborhood. Cool pics, too. Those night picks are great. People buy an emotion, so if you do emotional picks like that, it's a big seller. So that's a good comp. And here is a fourth one on Cutler. And this agent was a butt. They wanted to save their pictures, so they pulled them all off before it went penny. Oh, wait, never mind. They sold it off market. This happens a lot too. So they threw a sign in the yard, most likely. They got to call off the sign. So they listed it just so it's a comp. But we appreciate that. Owner agent. So, and no. So they did put it on the market, but it did sell in a day. So this is most likely a remodel as well. 1601 square feet, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, with a pool. It's closed for $250. So that is going to help us out for sure. All right. So let's go to our sheet. This is my nifty spreadsheet. Everybody's going to want one of these. And you're going to be able to have a chance to get one of these for free at the end of this. Let me switch back and see if we got any questions. How you like them apples? Apples to apples, man. It's got to be. Too many people, especially I've seen it before, where they'll comp a 1960s house with a 2002 house. Yeah, it might be right next door, but it's not going to be the same. You're not going to be able to get the same amount. Again, if you guys have questions, let me know. Marv, Adam, Alfonso, thanks for watching, guys. Mike Garza, thanks for joining. All right, so I moved all that to the side so you can't get distracted. So I filled this out already. So we're going to just throw the ARV. We're going to say fixed up, really nice, 250. So in our flip scenario, this is how I do it. This is not how everybody else does it. You need to figure out your own formula, and you need to be willing to change your formula. This was not my formula 6 months ago or 9 months ago. This is a much less safe model. This is my new Phoenix, Arizona model because it's difficult to find deals. And so you have to be a little bit more aggressive if you want to buy. So I used to be minus 30%. Now I'm minus 25%. So that means I need to do deals faster and I need to sell them quicker. So next is the repairs. I'm not going to roll through that today just because that is just a whole nother thing. We're just going to throw a number of 25,000 on it. So that tells me my maximum allowable offer is 162.5. They're offering it for 179. So two things need to happen. Either I negotiate it down or I overpay or I don't buy it. So in this scenario, I don't buy this for a flip. For me, this isn't a flip. That's why I didn't want to put the name of the person putting this out there. You know, I'm not trying to hate on anybody. I'm just letting you guys know if you want to make money, you're not going to make money on a flip this way. Maybe if you do it yourself, maybe if you cut that 25 in half, maybe if you do this, maybe if you do that, if all the stars align, then you will be able to make a nice profit. Otherwise, you're going to break even or make a very little profit or lose money. So that is off the table. Next, let's look at the rent here. So our purchase price, let's say we don't negotiate it down, $179. Rent repairs are going to be slightly less. You don't have to go with the exact same finishes. So now you can see I count about 80%. So $20,000 for the rent repairs. So you're all in for right around $200,000, $199,000. Okay. This is rough estimates, guys. This is not anything that's going to be exact. For if it is something you want to buy, when you find a property that you want to buy, then you get specific. So your cash invested, $199, estimated rent. Now let's do that. I will go over rental comps. Michelle Howard. Oh, Howard Gall. I know that's not your name. Thanks for joining me, though. Okay, so let's go. Here we go. So that's our residential. So we have our three comps there, 35, 34. Oh, and I didn't add the other ones. The other ones were 50. And so we're going to throw it for 250 out there because that's the other thing I want to talk about is how is the market trending? We're in a market that is still trending upward. So you can be more aggressive and more likely than not, you will be able to get a better price. Pendings are more of an indicator than sales in a market like this. So in this case, we have a 234 in our neighborhood that's smaller than us. and not quite as nice. So we feel that we can get a little bit more for that. So now let's switch over to residential rentals. So when you're comping rentals, you're going to have to be much more wide based, because you're not going to have as many rentals as you're going to have sales. So let's do this, and let's stretch it out through University, maybe over to McClintock, and we can even bring it down to Baseline and past. This is going to be our rental pool. We want to keep it in Tempe. So let's go to everything active, pending, and closed. Closed in the last 6 months. Dwelling type is a single family. And then let's again do the square footage. 1350 to 1750. Let's see how many that gives us. 50 to choose from. Very good. So actually, now that we know we have enough, let's cookie cutter this a little bit. So these neighborhoods up here are not too different, so I'll keep those in. But like we said, these Mill Avenues are pretty nice. But south of Southern is just normal houses for the most part. So let's just have a look at these. These will be a lot closer. Go up here, get rid of that. 30, perfect. So these are 30 homes that are active, pending, or sold or rented in the last 6 months. So first we start with our actives. Price reduced, $17.45. You can see it's a little bit smaller than us. Parkway Manor, so that's going to be down there on not too far away, about a mile away. Another one for $17.45. Looks like this guy has both of them. Then it jumps up to $19.95, $19.95, $21.50. So those are all pretty high. We're not going to really look at those too much. So now we look at the bottom of the market. Let's make sure these are all single families as well. Yeah, we did. Okay. So $13.95, $14, $14.50, $14.75. So you can see it runs the gamut here. I think personally the sweet spot is probably going to be around 15 to 16. There's a lot of 1695s and 1700s as well, though. So in this market, the rents are way up as well, depending on who you rent to. So let's throw a number of 1550. Let's throw 1600. I think you can get a little bit more for a house like this. All right, so now let's look at the rental strategy. Hey, Michelle, thanks for viewing. Let me know if you have any questions, Michelle. We are going over the cash flow. All right, so let's have a look. Purchase price $179, $20,000 into it. All in for $199. Estimated rent $1,600 a month equals $19,200 a year. Our taxes are $1,000. See, this is actuals. $1,045 in 2017. Prelim looks to go up a little bit. So you can see 85 to 100 was a $5 difference. So 100 to 112 will probably be another $5 difference. So let's throw that in there. So taxes, what was it? It was $1,050. Insurance for a house like that. Hopefully Steven is still watching. What do you think, Steven? For a rental, I would say $600 a year. And then let's just say you're going to manage it yourself. If you're not going to manage it, it's probably around $900 that you're going to look at, okay? So let's look at what this deal. So if you don't get any loan, let's just say you threw this in your retirement account. You self-directed $200,000, $220,000, whatever, just so you had a little extra. You threw it all cash into this one property. In a year, you'd make around a $20,000 net operating income. You know what? Let's throw that $900 on here. Oh, what am I doing? That's negative. Fix my spreadsheet. I don't like having to put negative. Okay, there we go. There's a more accurate representation. Let's put 1,000 here. Actually, it'll be 9 or 80 a month. What would that be? Let's do 1,000. Okay. So you have your taxes, your insurance, your management. We're assuming 100% vacancy. You rent it. It's rented all 12 months. Your net operating income, NOI, is 16,550, which is a 8.32% cash on cash. Not horrible. Now, of course, you might have a vacancy. That's really going to throw things out of whack a little bit. It's going to reduce it. But again, remember, guys, this is real estate. So this is your cash on cash. So we haven't leveraged. But secondly, this is just your cash flow. This does not have to do with any appreciation. If you had watched our market the last few years, I mean, we're going up 10% every single year. Hopefully that slows down a little bit. Personally, I hope it slows down just because things are crazy. We're finally back up to where prices kind of should be. So hopefully we have a nice slow and steady. But this is what it looks like. If you just threw all your cash into it, you didn't use any of the advantages of real estate, boom, an 8.3% cash on cash. You vet and get the right tenant, and you're not going to have to worry about, they'll stay year after year after year. So, you have a lot to do with that. Get rid of your management, and you're up to a 8.82, almost a 9% return. So that, those are helpful. All right. So that is the two strategies most people know how to do. Oh, Stephen Martz chimes in. 500 to 600 is a good estimate. There you go. If you guys need rental insurance or any type of other insurance, hit up my man right here, Stephen Martz. They do all of our rentals. They do all of our flips. They will hook you up. Good people too. Okay, so let's bring in the next strategy session. Let's see. All right, so now we have this strategy, the freezing cold strategy we love to talk about, BRRRR. So with BRRRR, you've already completed part of it. You bought it, you rehabbed it. Now the next strategy is to refinance. Oh, sorry, you've already got the first three. You bought it, you rehabbed it, you rented it. And now you're up to the fourth R, and you are going to refinance it. You're going to cash out. So you can always do this scenario over here, fixing this up and all that. You can always do that with a hard money loan. You don't have to be all cash. So we can help you get a hard money loan. Instead of being all in for 200, you'd probably be in for the 20 plus a down payment. You'd probably be in for around 60. We have plenty of hard money lenders who can help you with that if you need it. But that's I like to keep things simple. So that's a cash. And this one, we're going to also say we're cash. So we are doing a cash out refinance, which most of my lenders are able to do right away. So, if you're 30, 40 days out, 60 days out, no problem. Every once in a while, a lender will have an overlay where you have to own the property for 6 months. So that's still not horrible. Just own it for 6 months. And then this is the strategy that we're going to implement. Look at that. My Aunt Mary's on the line. Hey, Aunt Mary, how you doing? All right. So now we know where we're at. So this is an 80% refinance situation. We're going to be refinancing 80% loan to value. We're going to assume that our value is the 250. If it's not, we're not going to be able to pull out as much. So 80% of that is 200,000. We've invested 199 here. Let's see, it's 201. So we actually have an ROI. Actually, yeah, let's do that. Let's go back. Okay. So now let's look at what we have. A 30-year loan at 5% interest, which is pretty common in today's market, $1,073 a month. That's your principal and interest. You're not going to have any mortgage interest or anything like that because you have 20% equity. Yearly, that is $12,876. We're going to take that off our net operating income. Remember, we came up with that over here. That's our NOI. Cash flow is $4,674. We have an infinite return. This says that, but it's not that because we actually got 1,000 back. We didn't spend 1,000. Our cash on cash is infinite, but let's just say we spent 2,000 more and we're into it for 1,000 now because we want to make it fun. So that's a 467% return on investment. Why? Because we got all our money back. That's what we do. That's the whole point of investing. You buy an asset, you get your money back, you keep the asset. And as long as it keeps cash flowing, then we are going to keep this thing and we're going to keep it forever. So that's on a 30-year. We always want to look at what does a 15-year look like. And so if you look below here, payment on a 15-year. Now, we did reduce the interest rate because you're going to get a better interest rate on a 15-year. But your payment's going to go up. It goes up to $1,530. We're only running for $1,600. You can see our new cash flow is negative $810. That's a year. That's not a huge loss. It's still something I do not recommend. What I would recommend is you put this 4674 back towards it, and you'll be slightly above a 15-year because you don't want to lose money. Take that minus that, so 3,800 or so. If you put let's just say 3,500 back towards the property, then you'll know it'll be paid off in probably 17, 18 years instead of the 30. You'll save a lot of money. So that's what a 80% BRRR stands for. Now let's look at what a 70%. Just because it's not bad to have a little bit more money in, so you owe less, you cash flow more, and you can pay these off because the goal of this, what I teach, is to have free and clear real estate. That's what I want for you. I want you to eventually pay all of these off, because in 15 years, on average, real estate and rents in the Phoenix area double. So if you're doing this in the Phoenix area, you are going to, your $50,000 property is going to be worth $500,000. Your 1,600 is going to be 3,200. You're going to have zero debt service. You're going to owe nothing. You're going to have a $500,000 in equity on a property that you're never going to sell because it gives you cash flow, and that's the money that you live with every single day. This is what we call a retirement strategy. What your financial advisor gives you is a hope and a prayer, because they don't tell you what to invest in. You typically, they don't get you high enough returns. And when you do, when you're ready to get off, they typically don't know how to turn that into cash flow. They're going to throw it into a CD or some bad, and just an investment that's not making a higher return. Usually these days it's an annuity. An annuity is the classic thing that they like to do now. So let's have a final look at our 70% ARV. This is where I'd like to have people be. Yes, you're going to have skin in the game. Yes, you're not going to have these infinite returns, but you're going to have less of a payment. You're going to be able to pay those babies off sooner. So on this one, we did a 70% of ARV of the 250. We still have the 199,000 cash invested. So our total investment is now 24,000. We got skin in the game. Our 30-year 5% is 940. So that is 11,280. Back that off of our NOI that we already had, and it's a $6,200 a year cash flow based on your 24,000 return invested. Guys, it's a 26% ROI still. Yeah, you put in 25 grand, but you're making a 26% ROI. Are you doing that in the stock market? No. Will you be doing that in the stock market this next year? No. You're going to be negative probably. You're already negative 10%. Where are you going to be at the end of the year? Cash on cash is crazy. All right, but again, that's not what we're looking for. We're looking to pay these babies off. I want all that cash flow to go back towards this thing. So if we were to do a 15-year at 4.75, that's 1,340, which is not too far off our original, right? 1,073. So this is our new cash flow is not much, 1,500 a year. We're basically kicking all that back towards principal. New cash on cash is a measly 6% return, but it doesn't matter. You're getting that baby paid off in 15 years. So what do you have? You have a remodeled property. You have a nice tenant, and just wait 15 years. So now I want to talk theory a little bit, guys. let's look at this map again. So let's look at a 15-year scenario. Let's imagine that you have a 3-year-old, or you have a grandchild that is 3 years old, or a newborn, or a 5-year-old, or whatever. In this scenario, you have a 3-year-old in your life. You want that 3-year-old to go to college one day. Now, if you are smart, and if you're in Arizona, you would rather them go to ASU than that other school down south. But regardless, let's say that you do want them to go to ASU. Well, this property is very close to ASU. So you simply buy this property, you put $25,000 down, like we talked about in that scenario. You don't do anything. You don't pay anything extra. And when your child is 18, this is what they're going to be looking at. They're going to be looking at a house 10 minutes from ASU. What will they be able to do? So there will be no payment on this house. 0 payment, only tax insurance. Hopefully you teach them a business strategy where they can rent out those 2 other rooms. Hopefully they take the small room, they rent out the 2 other rooms to their friends. And so now, instead of your kid having to work throughout college, your kid has cash flow. And maybe they don't have, maybe they still have to work a little bit, but they have the cash flow coming in, you know, a couple $1,000 at this time because rents are way up. If kids are renting for $500, $600 a room now in Tempe, they're going to be paying $1,000, $1,200. So now your child will have that $2,000 or so coming in. They don't have to work for it. So they have a place to live. You don't have to pay for a dorm. They actually make money on it. They have they don't have to work as much. So now they can focus on their studies. They're learning a business skill by learning how to be a landlord and collect money from their friends. 4 years goes by. Now they're ready to graduate school. So let's just say you didn't have the money for tuition and all that, and they racked up a bunch of debt. Okay, well, they have your grandchild or whoever has a free and clear house now, or you do, so you can refinance and pay off the debt, and they can keep the property as a rental. You can simply sell it, keep the profit, pay off the loan. There's so many different scenarios, but the alternate scenario that most Americans straddle their kids with is they tell them they have to go to college, and then they make them borrow to go to college, and then they're strapped with $50,000 to $100,000 in debt after they get out of college. And so it doesn't start your kid out on the right foot. So simply just buying an asset like this, waiting 15 years, having it free and clear will set you on a completely different path. Remember the dad from California who helped find a property for his daughter actually? Oh yeah, absolutely. Go Sun Devils, absolutely. Paul is telling you guys about an actual client that did this. See, this isn't just theory. We help people do this. Smart investors do this. They have foresight. So this investor had a client going to GCC over on the west side, and so he bought a 4-bedroom house, and she was going to rent out the other 3 rooms. This is smart investing. This is how you get ahead in life. So this is one simple deal that was brought to me in today. Now, I'll tell you what, this wasn't an amazing deal because it wasn't an email. Once a property makes it on an email, it's not a great deal anymore. If it was an outstanding price, it would have been sold with a phone call or a text. We do get those all the time, but we also get these other properties that give you equity. This is, not for the fix and flip investor. This is for the landlord investor. This is what I want to convince you that this is what you want to do. You want to be a landlord investor. You want to be a buy and hold investor. Very important. So these deals we can provide you. We will get you qualified. We'll let you know where you stand with the lender. We'll see how much cash you're going to need. And we will do this BRRRR strategy. The last R in that is repeat. Because this is what you're doing. You're getting your money back, or at least a huge portion of your money back, and you're reinvesting that again and again and again and again. Imagine taking $250,000 and buying 10 of these. In 15 years, you would be a gazillionaire. I mean, think about it. If each one doubles, if you seriously did 10 of these, and each one's worth $250, and they doubled, you would have $5 million worth of real estate off $250,000 invested. Think about that. Put that into your calculator. If you put $250,000 into the stock market and it even did well, where are you going to be in 15 years? You're not going to be anywhere near 5 million. Oh my gosh, that's it. I'm doing the math. I told you I'm a nerd. We're doing nerd stuff. So we talked about having 5 million, and I don't even know the cash flow. The cash flow would be ridiculous. But if you put 250,000 plus, let's give you 8%. That's about what it averages. So 8% 1 year, 8% 2 years, 8% 3 years, 8% 4 years, 8% 5 years, 8% 6, 8% 7, 8% 8, 8% 9, 8% 10, 8% 11, 8% 12. We're on 12, and this is compounding, guys. This is compounding. So we're on 12, and this is compounding. This isn't how it works. 8% 13, 8% 14, 8% 15, $793,000. So if you did 250, 8% compounded over 15 years, you're going to have a cool $800,000. In my scenario, you're going to have 5 million. What do you think? Would you rather invest in real estate and have 5 million in free and clear real estate plus cash flow? Because think about your 793. You still got to turn that into cash flow. Let's do the math. So you have 793,000, and let's just say they can get you a 5% guaranteed, which I doubt they can, but I'm going to give them benefit of the doubt. 5% is going to be 39,650 cash flow a year. What are we looking at? We're looking at 1,600 times 10 is 16,000. Doubled is 3,200. Let's take 20% off that. Oh, wait. What is this math? Oh, my gosh. So we're talking 1,600 times 10. 16,000 times 2 is 32,000 a month. You can see a month, we're getting about what they're going to get, times 12. All right, 384,000, and then we're going to do 0.8. We're going to take off 20% for expenses, which is probably too much. So $307,000. Real estate always wins. Oh my gosh, I love math. I love real estate. Have a look at that, guys. It is insane. Lauren Howard, thank you for joining me, sir. Joshua Farley. Lauren knows real estate as well. If you guys need a hard money lender on a scenario like this, contact Lauren. He can get you the money. You got to have a great team, guys. You got to have your lenders. You got to have your hard money lenders, your conventional lenders. Your hard money lender will get you into the property, and then your conventional will refinance you out of it. So that is the breakdown. So option one is the stock market, and if you do well, you're going to make a cool $40,000 a year. The same investment into real estate over the long term could net you $307,000 a year. So again, it's just math. It's just scenarios, but it's definitely a plan rather than a dream that the stock market gives you. So if you want more of this, send me a PM. I'd love to get to know you, help you out with these scenarios. So that is my live broadcast for today. We're ending, and I hope that you found this enjoyable and helpful.